What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with the second half of the Lucky Dip tandem that we've been going through from Izzy, great friend of the channel, and more from the Innerpartysystem self-titled album, 2008. And the next tune in the playlist is called Everyone is the Same, which sounds like an exaggerated and dismissive sentiment, the idea that you might look for people who are unique, you might look for a countervailing sentiment, someone who does things or acts in a way that is outside the standard deviations that you typically find, but feeling frustrated or disappointed in that regard, that, you know what, at the end of the day, everyone's the same, they always do this. And I suppose it could be less dismissive and more realist, the idea that, well, you know, people have different motivations, they have different origins, familial, cultural, national, but in the end we all strive toward the same goals, we all have the same motivations, or rather the same attitudes about things, we all fall into the same cycles of behavior and so on. It could be more of a like, look, at the end of the day, humans aren't so different as they make themselves out to be. But when I read the title in the folder, it just gave me this sense of someone who's frustrated and feels like they haven't found the unique person or the even off the beaten path type of person that they're looking for. So I do wonder the attitude or the tone of the phrase, and even if it is a bit dismissive, perhaps there's more to it than that. Perhaps it's a reflection or a projection of the narrator's own sentiment that they can't break out of the mold, they can't find their own way or do something that hasn't been done before. So I do wonder the way this will play out. I'll try to catch what I can. This is Innerpartysystem, and the track is Everyone is the Same.
If you were somebody else, 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 nobody sees you when the lights are off, nobody sees you when the mirror talks, they have everything, they
I love that end too, almost like someone turned off a television or something like that, or indeed hit stop on a Techniques turntable, which is to say there's some turntable lines where there is like a bit of delay starting and stopping, but Techniques are, they advertise that they're sort of instant. The moment you hit it, the record stops. But yeah, I do like the sonic book ending of the tune. The ending was very similar to the beginning. I like a lot of the sonics. I like the progression of the tune. I will say that like electronic signal that would go for the last 4 beats of the measure, I like that. It's like the track was like receiving a message and then it would flourish right after it got it. There was like this sort of like rattling type of melodic line or like synth at the top of the track that I was like, I didn't notice it clearly at first, but then the more the tune went on, it was catching my ear. I enjoy his vocal delivery, like breathy and quiet at the beginning and the end, but a bit more full and forceful during the central part of the tune. But I was mostly keyed in to the lyrics, and I'm not really sure what's happening, but it feels like, number one, he is setting himself apart from most people, because he's saying like, everyone's saying that the war is over, but to me, we're just at the start. So already he's saying that, what you hear from everyone else is not what I'm telling you. I have a different message. Then talking about like wandering around aimlessly, but that he wants to be perfect. So it feels like maybe he's saying that other people have given up on that striving for perfection or striving to, find something better or beyond what most people do, but he hasn't. He's still looking for that, and maybe he doesn't know exactly where he's going. Maybe he's not sure how to get there. But he's, been fighting for so long, and I did like the way they extended that long, it's, the vocal expression, excuse me, of a lyrical or thematic concept. I always enjoy when that happens. Sometimes people will have something about being short or quick, and they'll hit the line very rapidly vocally, and then if there's something about being long or extended, and you hold that note and really stretch it out, it's just a nice little conceptual symmetry. But yeah, so it sounds like he's, again, setting himself apart, but then he is referring to another person. Now, he did talk about seeing himself in the mirror, and of course, again, that could be about projecting, like, you feel like you're stuck in a rut. You feel like maybe you've given up fighting, you've, stopped the war, so you're, like, trying to manifest a sentiment that's different from that. So, you're talking to the other person who's actually you. But he was also saying, what is it like? Will they love you when the lights are on? Because saying like no one can see you like when the lights are out. So you could just be a physical entity. You could look like anything, and maybe it's your ideas that matter, or maybe it's your personality that's important. But in the lights, will those same people who maybe gave you the time of day when they didn't know exactly, when they couldn't judge your appearance, and that could be more literal or figurative. But in the bright, garish lights, are they going to do the same, or are they just going to do what everybody else does? Are they, going to dismiss you because, well, you're not perfect. You're not exactly as maybe I would want you to be. Therefore, I'm not interested. So there's some different concepts at play here, and I was intrigued by several of the lines. I don't quite know how it all stitches together, whether there is really another person, whether this is an internal dialogue about him, whether we're talking about him making a point to really separate himself from everybody else who is the same, or whether he's saying like he's in that same war, that same battle, but he's just not giving up and he's going to keep striving. So I look forward to hearing Izzy comment, anyone else who knows the album as well. But yeah, again, it feels like there's been already a bit of variety over the course of this album in terms of like not only the sonic arrangement or configuration, but also the intensity. This one was a bit smoother, not to say that it didn't have some oomph to it. And I will say, one of the things I liked is that it came across sort of as like a pop rock tune, and yet we had like notable dance rhythms, including like dance music type elements. We had that groovin' hi-hat, which, as someone who listens to a lot of trance and techno, that's something that catches my ear right away. We had that big snare build, which, especially in the world of trance, that's often a technique to kind of build up the intensity and the excitement for the drop. You can just have a drop that, boom, it just comes out of nowhere, the kick and the hat come back, and we're going again. But if you give it that big, long snare build, the sense of anticipation and catharsis when you get to the drop, they enhance, they become more significant. So I did like the way that it had like a funk meets dance meets pop rock sort of synthesis. So Yeah, and indeed, like the funk element I was feeling early on, it had that just sort of funky groove to it. So some different sonic flavors, some different stylistic genres came to my mind as I listened. So yeah, I don't know if everyone will hear those the same, but that's what hit me on a first listen. Once again, big shout out to Izzy for providing this album and a lot more music. Indeed, I wanted to mention he's been providing me with some Shep Pettibone remixes, and my plan, and I think the next batch will be to go through a couple of those. So if you're interested in Shep's music and other stuff that Izzy's provided, I encourage you to check next time. Do let me know what you think of this, and I will see you then. Peace.